Our gathering words are by Pat Arube Lichty. We gather. We bring our sorrows, our disappointments, our failures. We gather for healing and for laughter and to rejoice. We gather to find new ways of loving, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. We gather. Yes, always we gather, for it is in gathering that we find our hope. Welcome to worship this morning.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay. As we light this candle, we affirm our commitment to cultivate meaningful relationships with the people of this land and to work together for justice and equity.
Please rise and bow to your spirit and join in singing our gathering hymn, number 226, People Look East.
People look east, the time is near, of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able, trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today, love the guest is on the way. First be glad, the earth is bare, one more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, and in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today, love the rose is on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim. One more light the mole shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east and sing today, love the star is on the way.
We light our Advent wreath today with these prayers by Reverend Elizabeth Barish Brown. This week we light our third candle. Beautiful Mother of Creation, teach us to find joy. Help us to open our hearts wide enough to let in the wonder of miracles, the anguish of suffering, the blessings of compassion, and the beauty of truth. In the true belief that someday this world can be a beloved community that holds us all in care, we light this candle of joy.
Good morning, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal the world. I am Lily Brock. I use the pronouns she, her, and I am serving as your worship associate this morning. If you are visiting, I want to extend to you a special welcome. I invite you to fill out the visitor form in your order of service and return it to the welcome table. If you're joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor form at the link on the live stream page or in the YouTube description. We would love to connect with you. If you have been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, Consider becoming a member of this beloved community. You can learn more about becoming a member at the welcome table or by contacting Valeria Aguilar, our membership coordinator.
Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are, in all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here, in the beauty that is who you love and how you love. You are welcome here, in all the ways that you live and move and experience your embodied self. You are welcome here. With all the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life. You are welcome here. Together, may we live into our shared values with love at the center. Welcome. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our church hymn and reciting our church aspiration.
May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento y el servicio su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
Good morning, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children or youth who'd like to come up and join me and Reverend Kristen for our time for all ages. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, we have angels already. Whoa. Good morning. So, friends, today we're thinking about Our Lady of Guadalupe. And you may not have heard of this story before. It's a story from the Christian tradition, and throughout the world, there are stories that involve Mary, the mother of Jesus, showing up to different people in different places. And usually they refer to those stories by the place where it happened. So like there's Our Lady of Lourdes, and there's Our Lady of Fatima, and this is Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is in Mexico. And as often happens with these stories, sometimes it starts one way, and then the people in the culture where they are sort of take that story, and it takes on a life of its own. So some people hear this story as a story of Mary. Some people hear this story as a story of the Earth Mother or the Goddess. And it was definitely important because it was the first time they had one of these stories where she showed up looking like the indigenous people of the area. And that's an important part of this story. And I'm going to hand the microphone over to Reverend Kristen to tell us all the details about this story.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to share this with you. So our story is entitled The Beautiful Lady, Our Lady of Guadalupe by Pat Mora, illustrated by Steve Johnson and Lou Fancher. Look, I did it. Terry holds up a bright red paper flower. Gracias, Grandma Lupita, for teaching Terry to make these, I say. I used to make flowers like this with my grandmother in Mexico, says Grandma Lupita, when we'd go to the market holding hands. I'm so happy you girls came on this cold December day. Who's that pretty lady? Asked Terry. That's Our Lady of Guadalupe, and today is her special day, says Grandma. Every December, Rose and I make pretty flowers to put around her statue. And every December, Grandma Lupita tells me the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Long ago, on a cold December morning, near what is now Mexico City, a man named Juan Diego put on his tilma, his cloak, and started down the road to church. As he walked along, he heard lovely bird songs at the top of Tepeyac Hill. Curious, Juan Diego looked up, and suddenly the birds were silent, and Juan Diego saw a shining bright light like the morning sunlight, and the hill glowed. In the middle of all of that soft light was a beautiful lady. Her cloak shone with stars, and she was floating on a sliver of moon, and her skin was brown and beautiful. And the lady smiled. Juan Diego, said the lady. Her voice was like a song, like river music. The lady asked Juan Diego to go visit the bishop in the nearby city and asked him to build a special church for her on the hilltop. She wanted a place where people could come and rest and pray. Juan Diego started down the dirt path. He was a good man, and he wanted to do what the lady asked of him. But he didn't know the bishop, who was a very important man. When Juan Diego arrived at the palace, many people were waiting to speak to the bishop. Juan Diego waited and waited until finally it was his turn, and the bishop listened. He thought, but he said, I need a sign. I need proof of La Hermosa Señora. Juan Diego wished he could build the church himself. He walked home slowly. He went softly by Tepeyac Hill, hoping that he would not see the lady again. He didn't want to tell her that the bishop did not believe. Juanito, called the lady. Juan Diego looked up and saw the beautiful lady again. Rays of light shone from behind her. And then Juan Diego looked sadly. Ay, señora, I feel so embarrassed. The bishop asked for a sign from you. Maybe you should ask a rich and important person to talk to the bishop. I am a poor man and I have no influence. The kind lady smiled. Juanito, she said, you are a good man, and I want you to speak to the bishop again and to ask him to build my church here on this hill. The next morning, Juan Diego again put on his tilma and went to see the bishop. He waited and waited and waited, and finally it was his time. And the bishop listened again and he said, Por favor, bring me a sign from the lady. Juan Diego left the bishop's palace and he walked softly again by Tepeyac Hill, and he heard a voice as sweet as river music. Juanito, por favor, return to the bishop again tomorrow. That night, Juan Diego sat on his favorite rock and looked up at his favorite stars and looked at the sliver of the moon. They reminded him of his mother, who he had loved, las estrellas y la luna. He thought about La Señora. She was kind, and she was gentle just like his mother. With a light around her and stars on her cloak and a sliver of moon under her feet, La Señora was beautiful like the earth and all the light around it. Juan Diego said his prayers. He wanted to wake up and help build the church for La Señora, but the bishop needed a sign. The next day, Juan Diego put on his tilma and he set off on a different path, hoping that the lady would not see him. He watched snow falling gently on the hills. Juanito, he heard again. And Juan Diego saw the lady coming down from the hill towards him. "I'm so sorry, Señora," said Juan Diego. "The bishop needs a sign from you." And like a kind mother, the lady smiled and pointed, and she said, "Go. In your tilma, bring me the flowers that are growing on the top of the hill." Juan Diego said, "It's winter. There are no flowers growing on the top of the hill." Juan Diego climbed up. "Oh, Señora," he gasped. Juan Diego saw roses blooming red in the snow. Slowly, he gathered the flowers and he took them down to the lady. "There," she said, "take these to the bishop." Juan Diego ran cautiously as not to drop the flowers. He rushed into the bishop's palace. Everyone stopped and looked at him. And in the sudden silence, Juan Diego opened his cloak. He couldn't wait for the bishop and everyone to see the roses from the beautiful lady. As the roses tumbled out, their sweet scent floated around the room, and everyone pointed at Juan Diego's tilma. There on his cloak was the image of La Hermosa Señora. Everyone saw her and the sun's rays and her green cloak and how she floated on a sliver of moon. Then, says Grandma, Juan Diego carefully touched her beautiful brown face. Grandma smiles and pats my hand, and she touches the face of our statue of Our Lady Guadalupe. And she says, many people now visit Our Lady's famous church. They go and see Juan Diego's tilma and the gentle face of Our Lady. Grandma Terry and I take our paper flowers and we put them around the statue. Grandma hugs me and says, Terry, I have a surprise for you. Look, rose cookies. They smell delicious. Roses in December and a party to celebrate Our Lady of Guadalupe. The end.
Thank you for reading that story to us. That was lovely. Well, friends, we don't have any rose cookies for you in your groups, but we do have some paper flowers that we'll make when we go back to our groups. But for now, I would love it if you could help me. If we're up here, we're going to stand up and lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalist, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios, universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now I invite any children or youth who'd like to join me and their other leaders out on the patio, and we'll head to our groups.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Martha Hall, and I'm a member of the Call Discernment Team, the team that is working to discern whether to call Reverend Kristen to be our associate minister. And I'm here this morning, first of all, to say thank you. Thank you, everyone, for participating in our congregational conversations. They were wonderful. Now, we have concluded the listening circles. But if you did not have a chance to participate and you want to share your thoughts, you do still have an opportunity to do that. You can go to the website, the UU website, the homepage. There's a big pink button with a pink stole. Hit that. It will take you to our special page, the contract to call. You will see the questions that you can answer and the email for our chair, Matt Kaplan. Just email your answers to Matt, and we will take your answers and include them with all of the other comments and information that we have from our congregational conversations, which have been wonderful. I want to ask you also to save the date, February 8th. That is the date that we will have the vote if the board decides that we should hold a vote. It's very, very important for everybody to participate if we have that vote, because we have to have a quorum. If we don't meet quorum, the vote won't count. And it's a higher than usual quorum. I believe we need somewhere around 150 to 175 votes to make that quorum mark, so please mark your calendars and save the date. Now, the reason that the date for the vote is so far in the future is because your call team still has work to do. We have to take all your comments, all your information, all the results of the listening circles, put that together in a report. Then we have to present that report to the board, and then the board has to make the decision on whether or not to call the vote. So we have several steps in this process. And we know that the process is a little long. We know that it may seem a little cumbersome and may even seem unnecessary. But the process is part of our democratic process in the UU Church. And as a lawyer, I can tell you that adhering to process and procedure is what ensures a fair and just result, even if you think you know what should happen. So I ask all of you to join in us in embracing the process, honoring our democratic principles where everyone has a voice, and moving forward with our call discernment procedure. And finally, I just want to say thank you again. It's been a delight to be on the team. The team is wonderful, and it has been a joy to participate with all of you in these congregational conversations. So thank you.
A few special announcements. As we do every Sunday, lay ministers are available after the service to offer a listening presence. If you have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, you can see Chris Smith after the service. Today, so we usually have a tour after service, but today we have something special that we would love everyone to participate in, which is an Our Sustainable Future visioning experience. So there'll be an opportunity, folks will meet in Bard Hall around 11:30, and then there'll be an opportunity to go to different places throughout the campus and talk about what they mean to us, and it will be a really important part of our discernment around our sustainable future. So please be in Bard Hall at 11:30 for that. We have some services coming up I want to make sure you're aware of. Next week on Sunday morning is our no rehearsal Christmas pageant. We will also celebrate Hanukkah and winter solstice. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be really fun. And then on Christmas Eve evening, we will have music starting at 7:30 and our candlelight service starting at 8 p.m. And there is also a Christmas Day potluck. Christmas Day potluck is at 12 p.m. It would be really helpful if you're planning to come to RSVP so we know how much to make and how much to set up for. So we are so glad you're here, and I'm going to invite up the folks who are leading our offering to make their way.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Thanks for agreeing to stand up with me in front of everyone, Academy Award style.
Yes, well, here we are, a couple of introverted UU Gen Xers.
Introverts, yeah.
Introverts. If you're going to call me, text first to warn me.
I'm not going to call you, don't worry.
Quiet hobbies. Knitting, guitar.
Acoustic guitar.
I know the back way out in case we need to escape social hour.
You know, I used to think I was the most introverted person at church.
Oh, is that a contest?
But then I realized if there's someone more introverted out there, I would never know. I would never meet them. Introverts just aren't going to meet each other.
We didn't meet until we started working together at the food pantry. It's a haven for introverts and extroverts and ambiverts and even those who eschew labels.
Eschew labels? It's a haven for word nerds.
I'm so glad we've become friends.
Me too. And thanks to the pantry, I've gotten to know so many of you. And it turns out you guys are great. I like you. I really like you. I think many of us have had that same experience. It's good to be together and to work together.
All while serving free, nutritious food to over 600 families every Saturday.
And that's why our food pantry is this month's generosity offering recipient. You can give through text to give at the number up there. You can also donate this morning in person through cash or check towards the back of the sanctuary or online at our church's website. Thank you for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
Thank you.
The following reading was written by Cameron Belm and is titled A Prayer for the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We all have our Tepeyac, our hill we're hurrying over in these December days. Perhaps, like Juan Diego, we are even avoiding you in our rush to get where we're going. May each one of us be stunned, stopped in our tracks by your call to us in our native tongue. Alone as we may feel this Advent, speak to us once more. Remind us of this, that you are here, that you love us tenderly and unfailingly. May we gather your roses, so improbably blooming in the winter chill, and shower them on a weary world, hungry for hope.
I know these roads will open. I know my fear its wings. I know these roads will open. Sé que abrirá esta rosa y sé que mi temor se irá. Sus alas mi amor desplegará. Sé que abrirá esta rosa.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. For our meditation time, I invite you to mindfully open your rose. If you don't have a paper rose, you could raise your hand and our ushers will come to you. You just start by taking the first top of either side and gently pulling up. And I invite you, as you're making your rose, as your rose is opening, just noticing if there's anything unfurling for you in your own heart, your own soul. As we finish unfolding our roses, I invite up the choir to come and share a special piece of music with us. May we gather up the roses blooming in winter and shower them on a weary world hungry for hope. Each December, Our Lady of Guadalupe is honored in the Catholic tradition on her feast day, December 12th. Celebrating Our Lady of Guadalupe includes the retelling of her story, the story of her appearance, which we did this morning with our children. But to begin to understand the significance of this story, We need to know more about what was happening at the time in 1531 in the Tepeyac Hills of Tenochtitlan, now known as Mexico City. Spanish conquistadors had come to the region about 10 years before, and they had colonized the land that was the home of the Aztecs. The Spanish took land by force, enslaved the Aztecs, and brought diseases that caused widespread illness and death. Many indigenous people were forcibly converted to Catholicism from their own spiritual traditions. It was in this context that Our Lady of Guadalupe, a brown-skinned goddess, revealed herself to Juan Diego, an indigenous man who had recently become Catholic. She came to him at the exact location of an Aztec shrine that had housed an important goddess, which had been destroyed by the Spanish. In this sacred place, Our Lady appeared and spoke to Juan Diego in his native language, Nahuatl. It is believed she did not call herself Our Lady of Guadalupe, but Tecalasupe, she who comes from the light like a fire eagle. She asked him to go to the bishop to build her a shrine. When he begged her to ask someone who was more powerful than him to speak to the bishop, she assured him that he too was powerful, that he was important, that he was under her care. She gave him a sign to prove her presence to the bishop, roses blooming on the hillside in the wintertime. The goddess was returned to her people in a new form, surrounded by symbols that were sacred to the Aztec people: the sun, the stars, and the moon. Instead of a halo, she was wrapped in a rebozo, a shawl worn by the local people in the colors of the quetzal bird's feathers. She came and reminded them that the goddess had not abandoned them, that the divine was with the poor and the oppressed. And I imagine that this was a message that the people needed. Our Lady and the miracle of the roses were a reminder that they were not abandoned and hope was not lost, even though they were living through a time of tremendous suffering and injustice. Our Lady, also known as Tonantzin, our mother, offered care when her people needed it most. Her image and story continues to offer people hope. Millions of people each year make a pilgrimage to her basilica in Mexico to pour out the sorrows of their hearts and to seek comfort. Many people wear her image for protection, and they also hold it on banners with her glowing presence as they work for workers' rights and immigration reform. She is not only a religious icon, but a symbol of hope, of resilience, and the movement for justice. Now, I first encountered images of Our Lady when I came to San Diego to work for the Justice for Janitors campaign almost 20 years ago. I had been raised Catholic on Long Island, New York, but in the church that I was raised in, there was very little emphasis on the divine feminine. I had never encountered Our Lady before, and so I felt compelled by these images of her, and I was especially moved by the role that she played in empowering the people whom I struggled alongside. I bought a small card with her image on it, and she sat in the cup holder in my car for years, traveling with me as I organized for justice. Today, she is on the altar in my office. When I look at her and I think of her image, this is what she says to me: "You are not alone. You are not alone in your suffering. You are not alone in your struggles. You are not alone in the pursuit of justice. You are loved, and you are worthy of dignity." So I invite Our Lady of Guadalupe this morning into our space, because I think that we need those messages now, just as the people did when she first appeared. We invite in she who comes from the light like a fire eagle, because we too are living through devastating times. when the poor and the oppressed continue to suffer grave injustices, when too many people live in poverty, struggling to feed and to house their families, when too many people feel powerless. It can feel like we are on the verge of hopelessness. But the presence of Our Lady doesn't just look out there for hope. She invites us to be hope, to accompany one another through our sorrows, to struggle together for justice, to show up for one another when things feel broken and when we ourselves are broken-hearted. I have witnessed this kind of accompaniment embodied by the people of faith throughout San Diego at our immigration courts. Hundreds of volunteers are showing up to accompany immigrants and asylum seekers through their immigration hearings and their check-ins. They know that by their presence, they may not change the outcome, but they're willing to be present, to move alongside those who face injustice. Many members of our congregation are involved in this sacred ministry, organized by the San Diego Organizing Project. And today, I want to share a reflection written by Isabella Firth about her experience. She wasn't able to be with us, so she gave me permission to share this with you. She writes, "The hallway where we wait is dimly lit. Its drab walls are worn brown carpets, mirroring a larger truth. The system that brings people here often reflects disregard, dismissal, even dehumanization. And yet in this stark and shabby place, tenderness finds its way through. It appears in a quiet conversation, a gentle nod, a silent vigil. Small gestures of care shimmer against a backdrop that tries to erase human dignity. When someone is detained and escorted down the corridor toward the elevators, what meets their eyes? A dingy hallway, masked guards, volunteers with cell phones doing necessary but intrusive documentation. In the midst of that harshness, my role is simple: to be present and unshielded, to communicate without words, you are not alone. Someone sees you. Sometimes a detained person meets my gaze, and we hold it as long as we can. In those suspended seconds, there is nothing to fix and nowhere else to go. There is only presence, a moment carried together, a quiet acknowledgement that honors the humanity in both of us. That brief encounter becomes a bond, fragile but profound. I am a humanist and a universalist. I believe all people, all of creation, are woven together in a vast living web of interdependence, sustained by the great spirit of life and love. For me, the divine dwells in those spaces between us, in our shared grief, our common longing, our recognition of the holy light in each other. My prayer is that every person who walks into that hallway might feel held by that spirit, the one that insists on connection, even in places that try to deny it. Gwendolyn Brooks writes, "We are each other's magnitude and bond." Her words remind me that what strengthens us is not power or certainty, but the ties we form, the ways we show up for one another, especially in places shaped by hardship. This bond is stronger than the systems that diminish us. It is the quiet work of the Spirit of life, stitching connection where the world has torn it apart. May we continue to be channels of that Spirit. Thank you, Bella, for testifying to this experience. Our Lady of Guadalupe calls us not only to look for hope out there, but to be hope for one another, to bring our care and our presence into a shattered world and to places of suffering, to accompany one another, and to work together, to struggle together for justice. So in that spirit, I invite you to join me in a ritual this morning. Each of you has a rose, and if you are willing, I invite you to turn to a neighbor and to exchange your rose and to each offer each other a blessing. May you be hope when hope is hard to find. May you be hope when hope is hard to find. Beloveds, may these roses remind us that we are hope to one another. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. May we go out into our day, into our communities, into our lives with that spirit of compassion and with hope. And may we bring hope where hope is hard to find, and a spirit of love and a rose in the wintertime. Blessed be, and go in beauty.